Good morning. It is 7:12 a.m. on Wednesday, August 28th, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Well, I say I just got up. I've actually been kind of poking around, moving real slow this morning. I recognize that I am very fortunate in a number of respects. One of those being that I have a job that, for the most part, I don't mind doing. I don't mind going in. I don't, it's not always what I feel like I would make as my first choice on any given day of how to spend my time, but, I do all right. But there are certainly some days where it's like, I'm not sick or anything like that, but maybe I'm just a little extra tired. I'm feeling just a little extra lazy, and it's like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have to go to work today? That sort of thing. And unfortunately, sometimes you let that sort of, make you drag your feet a little bit. So certainly been doing that a little bit today. I need to just get a move on. So I've just been thinking about how, sometimes it's just that psychological motivation of like, okay, let's stop entertaining the fantasy that I'm just going to blow things off today, my responsibilities. And I don't want to dismiss the idea too that people, like the idea of mental health day is sometimes treated like a joke. And I don't think it ought to be. I mean, I think that's, sometimes you need to take care of yourself, right? Now, obviously that can be abused, but it's also sometimes in its case where, there's nothing really wrong. You're just sort of just feeling lazy, right? So, I'm just thinking about it. It's like, unfortunately, these videos are not actually especially I'm not giving a lecture in a classroom where I can point to people and say, hey, give me an example of something you do to motivate yourself. But one of the things that I know that I do in circumstances like that, where I know it's like, okay, come on, well, let's get moving, is music. I don't actually listen to music in isolation very often, meaning when I say in isolation, I just mean where I'm not doing something else. Music is almost always something that I put on in the background while I'm doing, a separate activity. But, nonetheless, it really does have sort of a magic power that I think is fascinating in, a power on the brain where it can really affect or amplify our mood, and so putting on, some upbeat, bouncy music that I enjoy just to get the blood pumping, makes a big difference. And I know that there are times where I've used that to psych myself up for something that I know I'm going to enjoy. Or in cases like this where I'm just sort of feeling a little bit groggy or just a little bit slow, and it's like, oh, gotta just, all right, come on, let's get moving. All right, we can do it. All right. Another thing I've actually done is it's a stupid little psychological trick, but I've used it a couple of times, and one is that it seems dumb because all it is saying, I'm so excited 5 times. And obviously this is not like a magic spell, but certainly if you're doing it with an intent, right? The idea is that you are hoping for this to work and be effective, is you just kind of start to say, I'm so excited. I am so excited. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I am so excited. And you say it 5 times, and you try to say it a little different every time, and it's just sort of, it resets your brain a little bit, or at least it works for me. And, sometimes it's also just a matter of, putting things into perspective, right? There's an immediate gratification of being lazy in the moment, but what else, what are the larger ramifications? It's like, okay, well, yeah, but if you're lazy right now, then you won't get this done, and then you'll have this less for later or something like that. And you just kind of try to analyze, it's like, is there anything actually wrong? No, not really. You're just a little bit sleepy. And so you can kind of decide there. But the other aspect that I'll just finish on just as I get over 5 minutes here is that it is also certainly true that sometimes, this impulse to talk ourselves out of feeling lazy can lead to circumstances where someone actually maybe is sick and probably should stay home from work, but don't. And so trying to decide, what's that actual line? It's never going to be a stark black and white line that is clearly defined for everybody. So you kind of have to use your own judgment. But I think when you use that judgment, you have to also recognize that sometimes if your brain's feeling lazy, maybe you have to ramp it up a little bit before you try to make that call. Anyway, I am just rambling about self-improvement here, so I'm going to leave it there because I still have to take a shower before I go to work. So I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.